Alrighty, let me set the scene a little bit. You're sitting in high school math class. You're not in a real math class. It's called high school math, cause you're real fucking bad at math. You have a crush on this girl who sits next to you, but she doesn't even know you exist. Neither of you have friends in school, but it seems like she has a lot going on with her social life outside of school. You don't really know how to engage with her on a personal level because you don't have anything going on with your social life outside of school. In fact, the last time you went outside was 16 weeks ago, and it was to watch Shark Tank with this dude Darren, but he was mad weird and you didn't like his vibes. You walked into his room and saw about 40 microwaves all plugged in with cutlery next to them. That energy scared you. That's really not the point, but you really did not fuck with Darren. Basically, a few weeks go by and you hear through the grapevine that she sings a little bit. You know some people who run studios who owe you some favors, so you decide to call them in and invite her to record there. She's super stoked and actually agrees, but she seems a little bit hesitant. A whole week goes by, you get to that Friday. It's the day before you're supposed to go record, and she pulls you aside and tells you that tomorrow you're gonna see her outside of school and you're gonna have to be really fucking cool about it. You tell her, of course, but you don't know what she means by that. What the fuck could she mean by that? So you go home and you ask your dad, what the fuck could she mean by that? And he says, you should ask your mother, because he doesn't have any idea. But when you ask your mom, she just laughs at you like she knows something you don't and says, don't worry about it. You text your friend Thad about the situation and he says, don't worry about it. So you decide, hey, I'm not gonna worry about it. But listen, you're a little bit of a worrier, so you're pretty worried about it. It gets to be about dinner time and your phone buzzes. It's her. She tells you that she really needs you to be cool tomorrow because you have no idea what you're gonna be seeing and it's hard for her to open up like that for people. You say, sure. You feel super nice that she's trusting you with that. Bet, you got her, no issues. And you tell her, bet, I got you, no issues. And she says thanks and that she'll see you tomorrow. So you can't sleep. You're too excited about this date tomorrow. Even though you don't think that it's really a date and you know that you gotta find out what she meant by you gotta be cool, you're still super excited for it. You sit awake all night. Your eyes are burning because you haven't blinked. For hours you're staring at the ceiling pondering what in the fuck could she have meant by that. At one point, a fly walked across your eye. You didn't even fucking flinch. What the fuck could she have meant by that? You still have no idea, but your eyes are watering. You're sore from being locked in one spot for that long, and the fatigue of thinking has worn you the fuck out. You decide to go to bed and you have dreams about your new George Foreman grill that will be arriving in the mail soon. After all, you have a life outside of wondering what the fuck this girl meant. Morning comes all too quick and you do not feel rested. You rail a line of Vyvanse and down 3 Monster Energy drinks as per every morning because the heart palpitations give you an edge over your competition and you know you're facing a motherfucking day. You're nervous about impressing this girl and hopefully touching titty. You're confused about what the fuck this girl meant. You're basically just sweating bullets at this point, almost shitting yourself out of anxiety. You drive to the studio. You arrive. The engineers leave and she says she'll be there in 30. You prepare. You got some Marvin Gaye samples lined up. You take some anxiety poops. She says that she's here. With the confidence of a 5'10" 16-year-old that weighs 210 pounds, you walk up to that door and you open it for her and in she walks. Everything seems normal. Nothing is wrong with her or the situation. You give her a little hug and you get to the studio. You close the door. You're face to face for a moment. She asks if you're ready. You say yes. She asks if you'll be cool. You say yes. She asks if you are sure. Goddamn bitch, tell me what the fuck you meant. But you didn't actually say that. You just said yes. She looks at you, takes off her backpack, and pulls out a shiny blonde wig. She slips it on her head. Sweet niblets, it's Hannah Montana. She's trying to read your expression to see if you're gonna be cool about this. You're not gonna be cool about this. You actually didn't have a crush on this girl. You aren't a fucking high school student, and you knew exactly what she meant. You're a representative for Nickelodeon trying to prove to your boss that you deserve a promotion by uncovering Hannah Montana's secret identity. El Jefe is gonna be so pleased with you. She begs you not to reveal her secret, but with dollars and tears of joy in your eyes, you dial up TMZ's tip line and say, Hannah Montana is actually named Miley Cyrus. You hang up, look at her and say, I never was going to be cool about this. Welcome to the OC, bitch. Gather around, children. It's time for another story time, so buckle up and take your bong grips. Let's get ready. Back in the day, I knew this dude who was super fucking weird. Like he was the kid who would eat his own scabs, but it was worse than that. He'd peel them off during lunch and would fucking season it with the mini salt and pepper packets that they'd give out and some of the sauce that he'd bring from home. You know, maybe this would be less weird for like a young kid or some shit like that, I don't know, but we were 16 at the time. But this story isn't about that. I'm just saying, like, this dude was super weird, and that's something you gotta understand when we're talking about this guy. He spent a lot of time getting bullied, and a lot of people really felt for him. To be honest, he wasn't a bad guy or anything, he'd just do some really weird shit. I think at some point, he kinda got tired of it and said, well, my parents are going out of town. I don't really do too many things that would make them think that I'd have a party, so I think I'm gonna have a party. By the end of the week, everyone knew what was going down on that Saturday evening. It's also important to note that at this point, he really only got bullied by a few people because everyone felt kind of badly for him. So everyone was pretty on board with going because his older brother Erickson promised to bring a few handles of vodka, but there were signs that this party was, at the very least, going to be weird as shit. On that Friday, I had gone to rip a jewel in the bathroom and saw him in there just sitting on a chair he brought from the library, reading a book and muttering to himself. I just smoke and do my thing in one of the stalls, and when I was washing my hands, I hear this dude go, "Your breath's not so minty." And I turned around and was about to say, "What the fuck?" But he shoved a handful of Altoids in my mouth and said, much more slowly, "Your breath is not minty. Everyone's breath has to be minty for Saturday evening." So I just turned and got the fuck out of there and asked a few other people if it happened to them, and everyone said no. And they kind of got mad at me for trying to make this dude seem extra weird before his party, and frankly, I'd taken an entire bottle of Benadryl that morning and dismissed it as me just bugging out. Like it couldn't have happened. I should not have dismissed it. Saturday night rocks up like a 40-year-old recently divorced soccer mom rocks up to a strip club on ladies' night, way too quickly and with little prior thought. Everyone shows up and it's looking like a pretty normal party. Everything is standard from where I was sitting at least. And I think there was kind of like a general sense of, hey, this guy might not be so weird. He's doing a great job of expanding his social circle with this. Until he pulled out the kiddie pool. Don't get me wrong. I love the trashy kiddie pool present at parties because I don't know where else I'm gonna go pee. But this one was empty and this kid had dragged it out from his backyard and brought it into the living room. It's important to know that his brother Erickson had in fact come through with the liquor, but when this guy hosting garnered everyone around the kiddie pool, he said he was stone cold sober. No slurred speech or anything to suggest that he was impaired either. This motherfucker strips to his bare ass and says, "Brother, spray me." As soon as he said that, a white van drove through the wall, straight over some kids, and out stepped Erickson wielding a fire hose. Erickson started spraying his brother with this brown liquid and the scent of barbecue filled the room. As this guy was fully enveloped in the liquid, his voice now changing deeper and booming and fear-inducing screamed, "I fucking love Baby Ray's barbecue sauce." That's how I actually met Mark Zuckerberg.